have discussed about data types, and also we have told you how you can specifically say or set a type for a variable. In this video, we are going to talk about empty variables and how we can initialize some variables with empty values. Now, why would you do something like this? Well, essentially, let's simulate an example to understand this. So let's say you have created a registration form and the user has to fill some information before he sign up. Now we do not know, once we created our application, we do not know the information that will be added. Okay, so that's why we need to figure out some way that will help us to create an empty variables. Then later on in the future, we are gonna update our fields, our inputs, depending on the data that we are gonna get it from our users. Make sense? So let's simulate that here in our code. So I'm gonna create a variable. Let's call it username, like this. And here I do not want to specify any value, but I will specify the type. So type string will be. And here and I'm not gonna specify any value once again. So here, in order for me to make it empty, this value is created, this variable is created, but with no value. This is not what I want. I want to create a variable, but with an empty value. It has a value, but it's empty. Now, up to this point, we have created a variable, but it has no value. Instead, I want a value, but it's empty. And in order for me to do so, first of all, here after the type, you need to add the question mark, then type the variable name and set it to be null. Null, it's mean a value, a known value. So this is a value, but we do not know the exact value. So we are gonna wait for an update until we set the actual value. So this is mean that we have created a variable, but it's empty. Later on we are gonna update it. Make sense? Now if I drop here, let's say for example after for example calling, I'm just gonna calling the sign up function like so. So here just an example, it's not something real. So what I will say the username, I got the value from the user through an input, and what I will say that his name was like so. So I have created a variable with an empty value, but later on I have updated the value to be something valuable, something useful, something that I can show to the user. Now what I can do, I can print ln to the user, his name, and like so. So as you can see how it's work, very easy. If we jump over, click on the play button, we should be able to see our username. So this is really how it's work. So let's go ahead and simulate another example. I'm gonna create a variable, let's call it user email. The value of it should be string of that, or sorry, the type, and I'm just gonna specify it to be user email should be null. Here, after I got the information through a form, if you do not know how to use form, do not worry. We are gonna show you that once we come to the Android Studio section. We will show you how to do all these stuff, getting a value from an input and so on. So the user email should be equal to user@user.com. This is how it's work. Now here I'm gonna add the plus sign, or if you want to add a new line, you can use another print ln and type the thing that you want to show to the user, which is his email. If I jump over and click on run, we are gonna get Abdul Wahab as well as the user@user.com. Very simple. So as you can see, this is how you can create empty variables. Do not worry if you do not know when you are going to use it, because later on we will show you this and hundreds of examples. So hopefully that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one.